Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sling'N podcast. I'm TJ.
Fix it. And I'm Ken.
Oh, stop it. And joining us, ladies and gentlemen, is a very special guest of the show, Cam Hayes. Hayes, C494. Cam, buddy, we're so glad to have you back, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be back. It's good to be alive.
It is. It is. So for those of you that don't know, right, this is a very special occasion. But for those that have not had the opportunity to catch up one of the previous episodes or see all the amazing stuff that Cam has given us over the many years that we've been friends, I want to give him an opportunity to tell us all who the hell he is. Cam?
So my name is Cameron Hayes. I'm a U.S. Army sniper, an instructor, competition shooter, inventor of the 6mm Hayes rifle cartridge. I'm an amputee, a professional, semi-pro morale booster, and part-time dirtbag.
Okay. I will take that intro, sir. I like that.
Will you text me all that, please, so I can put that on another shirt for you?
Yeah, that's another shirt right there.
Next shirt. T-shirt idea.
All right, I'm gonna do this right fucking now, so we don't have to do it later. Your face on this podcast again is the best goddamn thing I've had happen in the last 3 months. We really
only 3 months yet?
Well, I mean, it's been that long since you fucking tumbly wumbled off your motor trickler. But bro, yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. We were fucked up, worried about you, hoping that you'd come back around and be squared away, and whatever version of shit you could have in life, you could have. And I gotta tell you, seeing you fucking standing up out of a wheelchair, seeing you on the goddamn street corner with a spot and scope, like seeing you talking and hearing you talking about being the person that you still are is fire in my belly, my brother. I'm so proud of you. I love you, and thank God you're still here. All right, fuck the rest of that shit. We don't have to do that no more. That's my intro. That's what I
never have to do it again. You were like, all right, I told you I like you once.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you get. The rest of it is like our typical text thread. That's all you get, though.
It'll be stored in posterity on all of your favorite local podcast players
for all time,
eternity.
Yeah, next time I'm feeling down, I'm gonna pull up YouTube, with Careless Whisper playing in the background. I'll be in the shower, obviously, and I'll just play the beginning of this podcast just so I can hear that part. Just be like, it's going to be a good day. And then I'll do my Suck Today's Dick video right after that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see how else you would start your day.
No.
I mean, real talk, though, TJ, and not that TJ wasn't worried, but for all the worry that I had, TJ had that, like, resolve that only dudes like you guys can have, where he was like, Matt, he'll be all right. I was like, well, fuck, bro. And he's like, nah, he'll be fine. He'll be all right. I'm like, he's missing a leg. He's like, you don't need it. He's got another one. He'll be fine. He was like the Asian father of vet bros. Just like, you lose both leg yet? No? Tell me when you lose both leg. It'd be fine.
See, what Cam didn't tell y'all is he was leveling the playing field to give the rest of us a fighting chance to keep up with his ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it is his ass-kicking contest, by the way.
It is. I'm wearing the shirt. Y'all just can't see it because I'm having to lay in a weird position to be even slightly comfortable right now.
You do whatever you have to do. And feel free to bring that camera angle lower and lower and lower.
Yes, I'm not wearing pants. Hey, just like before, I'm Winnie the Pooh in the show. I'm shirt cocking the shit.
It's a pantsless party. I'm bringing it back. It's a thing.
You guys are wearing pants? The camera ends here, guys. Come on.
All right. Yeah, that's a good point. I might not.
Secrets of the tradecraft, my friend. We must broadcast in comfort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we must. So, TJ, what you got, man? You got an intro for us?
I mean, as far as things go, obviously Cam's back. We're happy to have him back. So the fun part, real quick. So just so you guys know about like that whole military resolve thing, what you see on the front, we're like ducks on the water, man. Stoic and cold, stone-faced on the front. Meanwhile, I'm just like, please, God, please, God, please, God.
Please let my friend be okay.
Are you there? It's me, Margaret. Right? But yeah, man, really, really glad you're okay. We really are. Just to echo what Kent had to say, right? Getting you back on this podcast means the world to us. So we love you, dude, and we're glad you're here.
Yeah, man.
Glad to be here.
So I guess because this is gonna be a motherfucker of an episode, right? There's a lot to talk about through this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I made notes. I made notes so that we could stay on track.
Yeah.
And let it be known, this is the first time in recorded history that there have been notes at all prepared for this show.
Yeah, leave it to Cam to be the professional, for fuck's sake. So let me talk because I'm sure your notes cover this, but I've got a mental progression. So let's go through it, and let's like update and explain to everybody. So, are we saying your better half there's name on the show too? Like we could speak on Miss Kelsey and all that. Is that all right?
Well, you just said her name, so yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Are we gonna say Kelsey's name on the show? Good job, Kent.
Okay, fine. Well, her name Kelsey.
We can say her name.
Okay. So you and Kelsey got up on the 18th of June, and besides it being my birthday and the most kick-ass day on the face of the planet Earth, decided we're just going to go for a fun cruise and go get the wind in our hair, get the bike dirty, that kind of shit.
All right. So that is topic number one on the schedule here. So perfect. You covered it right. I paid him to do that, Tej. You didn't see that part, but I Venmo'd him some cash to say that. So anyway, so that day,
like that sometimes
it do. That day, me and Kelsey decided that we wanted to go have lunch somewhere different. There was a little diner that was right down the road from where I lived, and it was summertime. It's summertime, so I was like, let's hop on the bike. And I had been getting her used to riding the bike with me in the weeks before, and this was probably her 5th time on a bike. So she hops on the bike with me. And keep in mind, where I'm living right now is I was living where I was living was in a camper in my mom's front yard. So in a van down by the river. No, I was living in a camper in my mom's front yard because I had just sold my house and I was about to get a house and, all this other stuff. So I was living in my camper at the time. So anyway, we hop on the bike. We get to the end of Mom's Road, made a left, get to the end of that road and made a right. That's Ridge Road. Less than 5 minutes away from my mom's house. And speed limit's 55 miles an hour both ways. We're just cruising. And Kelsey said that she felt my body change. She says all she remembers about this part was she felt my body change and she felt me reach back, she saw me reach back for her with my left hand. So what happened was when this Nissan was going this way and we were going this way, the Nissan cut over into our lane completely. So there was no way for me to go around the Nissan. There was no way for me to, avoid hitting it. It was going to happen. And they were maybe 20 meters in front of us when they did it. So there's no hitting the brakes. There's no avoiding this crash. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. So I've had time slow down for me before. I've had adrenaline pumping situations where time slowed down. I've never had one where time almost stopped. So as soon as the car pulled in front of me, my brain kicked into overdrive. It felt like everything just, stopped basically. And my head in my head, the thought was, I have this beautiful woman on the back of my bike, and she has a 6-year-old kid. And I don't have any children. So the priority of life here is her over me. So I decided that she needed to survive this accident. So as soon as we impacted the car, we separated from the motorcycle, and I knew that her best chance of survival was if I hit the ground and she landed on top of me, because I would alleviate that impact from her. So I knew that that was her best chance of survival, is if I hit the ground, she landed on top of me, and then we roll, because that part's inevitable as well. So it worked exactly like that. I reached back, we hit the car, we separate from the motorcycle. I grabbed her hands, because her hands were wrapped around my stomach. I grabbed her hands and I grabbed her leg. Well, the part of us that we're missing is we're missing our left legs, and I'm missing my left hand, and it's from where we hit the car, or where the car hit us. So I hit the ground. She landed on top of me. I couldn't hold on to her after I hit the ground. We separated in the roll, and then we're laying in the grass. When we were laying in the grass, I was trying to take my helmet off because I couldn't move anything but my right hand. I was trying to take my helmet off so that I could look for her. And when I'd go to take my helmet off, somebody ran up and was like, no, keep your helmet on, keep your helmet on, keep your helmet on. And I got my helmet off and took out the earbuds that were in my ears, and I couldn't move my head to look for her. So I asked the lady, I was like, "Where's Kelsey?" And she was like, "She's fine. She's fine." She was like, "Me and my daughter were right behind you." And while she's doing this, keep in mind, she's slapping a tourniquet on me. So she said, "Me and my daughter are both trauma nurses. We were in the car behind you. We saw everything." And she was like, "My daughter is working on your wife right now." And between her saying that and we're just waiting on the helicopters to get here, I heard Kelsey a few feet away from me in the grass moaning out in pain. But I could tell by the way that the noises that she was making, that she was in much better shape than me. Basically, that I thought she was going to survive based on the sounds that she was making. Like, she was actually calling for help and stuff. So I basically just thought, I did my job. I kept her alive, and she's going to be fine. And then I relaxed because I thought I was dead. So when I relaxed, I fell asleep. And then whenever I woke up, the helicopters were landing, and then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up in the helicopter, and then went back to sleep. And then I didn't wake up again for a week and a half because I was in a coma. When I got to the hospital, they had to give me 19 units of blood right away to keep me alive. Which, keep in mind, the human body holds 10. All in all, by the time I left the hospital, I ended up taking 40 units for them to keep me alive. But I was in a coma for the first week and a half that I was in there. And then they woke me up from my coma, and I was up for like a day. And then my temperature spiked. At the time, I had a below the knee amputation But then for that day that I was awake, my temperature spiked, and they had to put me back under. So they put me back under and reduced the leg to an above the knee because it was infected. That's why I had the temperature spike, the fever. So I was in a coma for 2 weeks, basically. The whole time that I was in the coma, my mom was whispering in my ear that, let me find it because I actually wrote down what she said. She said, "You've been in an accident. It was not your fault, and Kelsey is fine." She repeated it probably thousands of times by the time I had woke up. But that was what she kept repeating over and over and over while I was in a coma. But yeah, once I woke up from my coma, that's whenever the ICU fund started. So I don't know. That was basically me covering the actual accident. I don't know if you want to go over anything now, or if you want me to start talking about hospital things.
No, I have some questions if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yeah, go on ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So this mother and daughter, these people that rolled up on you from right behind you, have you been able to maintain contact with them?
I haven't, but my mom has.
Okay.
And apparently, like I said, they were trauma nurses, but they were trauma nurses from like a completely different part of the state. Like they should not have been there. They were in town for like a wedding or some shit. And they just happened to be going on that road when that happened.
Yeah.
So
and they just happened to have life-saving tools on board, yeah?
Yeah, they had tourniquets, yeah.
Not everybody's rolling around with tourniquets.
You know what? I am.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. I have one attached to my fanny pack that I wear in my chair.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I guess, I mean, what are the odds, right? Like, you better believe in something. If you don't believe that this was meant to go this way, what are the chances that the good Lord puts those two directly behind you?
Slim and none.
Right. I mean, fuck me, bro. Like, that's some really, if you believe in luck, that's some goddamn good luck.
Yeah.
And they were able to apply what is clearly life-saving aid to not one but two people, and in a real rough story. So I'd love to hear from them at some point. I'd love to fucking give them ladies kudos and whatever else, but god damn, good for them.
Yeah.
That's some solid work. What if anything did you like did you have any kind of like you said, you just kind of went to sleep, huh? You're like, well, this lights are going out, it's time to relax. I mean, did you have conscious thoughts in those moments? Did you?
Yeah, and when I was in a coma, I did also. So like there was when I checked out right there on the side of the road, no, I didn't. But when I was in the coma, I had dreams the whole time I was in the coma.
Yep.
So
yep. Well, I mean, we don't need to, unless you want to, we don't need to belabor those, but I just was curious what your level of mental comprehension was, and what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, when I thought the job was done, I decided to take a little nap, Yeah. And it was, like one of the things that I really clung on to in the hospital, because, there's a lot of bad that I could latch on to, like not being able to fully use my hand ever again, and not having a leg, on the left side of my body ever again, and, stuff like that. But the thing that really, really kept me positive in the hospital was people can go their whole life thinking that they will be a hero whenever the time comes.
Yeah.
But then they never get tested. So they never truly know if they're going to be a hero whenever that situation arises.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it popped up for me, you know, I grabbed her so that I could take the blow of concrete that's, you know, 60 miles an hour, so that a mother could be a mother to her 6-year-old daughter for, you know, the foreseeable future. I did that thing. So when I was in the hospital, I latched on to, when I was tested, you know, if I was going to be a hero or a coward, I chose the hero route. So
To
I latched
be
on to that.
fair, I think we probably, from previous experience, knew that about you already, though, right? Like other things.
Whether you acknowledged it or not, bro.
Yeah, right. So like I wouldn't have had to have guessed. Like I'm not gonna suck your second leg here too much, but like let's be real. Like I'm not surprised. That part doesn't surprise me.
So are you telling me I didn't have to go through all this shit to prove it? God damn it!
Yeah, if this was a stunt, like I'm sorry, but you done fucked up. I'd give you the grace. Yeah. No, I'm not at all surprised by that. You know, it's one of those things, right? Like some people, like it seems like the universe sometimes, right? Like how many fucking terrible shitbags are walking around doing just fine, and how many
the ones that hit me.
Well, yeah, there you go, right? And how many people take lumps and keep ticking? Like you're obviously the other kind of guy. So
yeah.
You know, I think I've got an answer to that somehow. You guys know that I tend to wax philosophically.
All right.
The reality of the situation. Yeah. Later, after the show. When we broadcast on OnlyFans, Cam. No, so Cam, you brought up a good point, right? There are people that will be tested. There are some that won't. To determine what you truly will end up being on one side of that coin or the other, a hero or a coward. You won't truly know until you've been tested. Those good people or those bad people who are left to survive have been tested, have failed, or are still being tested, and they're being left to wallow in their own self-destruction because of their inability to rise to the occasion. I fully believe that. Right. You said it yourself in one of your posts. Death has to be easy because life is hard. Yeah. Why give those motherfuckers the satisfaction of eternal peace or bliss in some way, shape, or form, whatever you might believe, right? You either continue to get tested or you just wallow in your own failure. Right? It's just the way it goes. I am curious, though, about something. You mentioned that your mom was repeating the same thing over and over to you again while you were in a coma. Did you hear any of that?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
It sounded like, you know how whenever you're playing the video game Halo, Cortana is talking to Master Chief through his helmet? So, like, she sounds like she's distant, but she's right here in his helmet. That's what it sounded like. Any fucking nerds out there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, so
hospital time.
Yeah, now we'll talk about the hospital. So one of the big issues that I had while I was in the hospital was that I had blood clots on my lungs. So they had to like pump my lungs basically. And when they pumped my lungs, they got like blood clots and ash, like what looked like ash off of my lungs, and they're saying that it's from the burn pits in Afghanistan. So, that was kind of a interesting thing. I thought, like the people who have been exposed to burn pits think it really didn't fuck up their lungs. And then when I was in the hospital, they had to pump my lungs because they were full of blood clots and ashes. So, yeah. Anyway.
Hold on. When was the last time you were in the sandbox, bro?
2018.
Right. Okay, note to self. Respond to random Facebook ads about lawsuits.
Yeah. Shit.
So, because I was having these respiratory issues, they had to like keep testing my lungs and shit. So, it was like one of the first days that I had woke up from the coma. It was like, I don't know if you guys are pricing it out, but after you wake up from a coma, you're not just spry and up and ready to go. You're kind of sleeping, for the next couple of days, and you're just waking up off and on. So I ended up waking up to a doctor. A doctor woke me up, or maybe it was a nurse, whatever. One of them people wearing a suit came in there and was like, first thing they said to me when they woke me up, not, "Hi, I'm Dr. or Nurse such and such. How are you doing today?" It was just, "Mr. Hayes, we need you to suck on this." And the first words out of my mouth were, "I ain't sucking shit." It was one of those like the breath tester things that test your lung capacity. But he woke me up like holding it, and I'm woke up from like coma sleep, and he said, "I need you to suck on something." I said, "I ain't sucking shit." So like I woke up very violent, like very much ready to fight somebody who I thought was about to put dick in my face or something.
Hold on. Please tell me his name was Dr. Day.
Hey. Suck the days. This is how it goes. Yeah. Dr. Day.
So just a side note. TJ and I, from our various professional entanglements, both know how easy it is to get into every hospital in the country. So you are looking at Dr. Day, and boy, did you do a good job sucking. It was a fun afternoon.
Yeah.
That was the best way I've lost $20, Kent. I've never seen you grin. I've never seen you smile harder.
Oh, here he is baring his soul, and we're still cracking jokes. You'd have it no other way, though.
That's exactly how I want it to be. If you guys are sitting there like, "Man, that sucks," I'd be like, "God damn, if y'all don't crack a fucking joke soon, I will." And I'll make it
for Christ's sakes, folks. I designed a T-shirt before we actually knew how bad the amputation was.
Yeah, we're sitting there like, if this motherfucker dies while we're selling this T-shirt, this is not going to be a good look. We will never recover from this. Like,
you guys are just stuck there holding the ball like,
right.
Maybe we should have waited another week or two.
Oh my God. So your first conscious recollection was Cam woke up and chose violence. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, as I woke up, that was the first thing I remember waking up to was a guy holding one of those breath things and being like, "Mr. Hayes, we need you to suck on this." And I just said, "I ain't sucking shit." It was the first thing like I remembered after waking up out of the coma is "I ain't sucking shit." First words out of my mouth. So
I'd have it no other way, bud. I'd have it no other way.
After I talk about sucking the day's dick like multiple times a week usually, the first thing is I ain't sucking shit when I wake up. So it's really contradictory, I feel. So anyway, all right. So now I'm still in the ICU. So they've got people coming to see me in the ICU, and they're saying like, they're making me do like PT and OT, and I'm getting hospital sleep, which is some of the worst sleep you'll ever get because you get woke up all the fucking time. And it's one of my last days in the ICU before they're about to move me over to the regular hospital, and this the PT OT lady came up to me like to like do my PT OT session, and she was like, "Hey, our PT session today is going to be me moving you over to the regular hospital in a wheelchair because you have to be seated upright." Being seated upright was like one of the major goals that they wanted to achieve, having me sit upright for more than 5 minutes, right? Or no, 30 minutes. I'm sorry. To have me sit upright for more than 30 minutes because I had a shattered pelvis. They get me in this wheelchair. Oh, I'm sorry. Before they get me in a wheelchair, they yank the catheter out of me. So that was an important part. They yank the catheter out of me, put me in a wheelchair, and roll me down to go see Kelsey, who was also in the hospital. I was in excruciating pain. And then they take me to my room in the hospital, and we have to wait for enough nurses to get me out of my chair and into the hospital bed, but it's shift change. So I ended up sitting in that hospital chair for like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. And a major goal was 30 minutes. I was in so much pain. I was like sweating and shaking and gritting my teeth, and that was all I could do. You'll hear me say that, maybe a few more times during this podcast, but when I say that I was in excruciating pain, that's what excruciating pain looks like for me: gritting my teeth, shaking, and sweating.
Right.
So they finally got enough people in there to put me in my bed. They put me in my bed. I'm sitting there for a little bit, and I have to pee. So nobody else was in the room with me at the time except for my 35-year-old female cousin. Keep in mind, I am from West Virginia. Anyway,
I was just gonna say, okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So I had to tell my cousin, I was like, because I couldn't move and shit. I was like, "Hey, I have to pee right now. I need you to hold the bottle for me." And she was like, "Okay." And it's literally like a urinal bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Okay." So I'm trying to pee. I'm trying to pee. I can't pee. And I was like, keep in mind, after a pelvic injury, your testicles swell enormous. My balls were the size of a cantaloupe. That's no bullshit. So I'm trying to piss in this bottle that she's holding for me, and I can't go. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I pee? And she was like, there's so much blood and scabs and blood clots that you can't pee. And I tell her to take the dude wipes on the counter and clean the blood clots out of my dick hole so that I can pee. This is just, like, it's kind of funny to like talk about it in the way that I did, like bring it up as it's my 35-year-old cousin and I'm from West Virginia and she's a female kind of thing. But this is just one of the realities that I had to live with while I was in the hospital. Was like, in order for me to piss in this bottle, I had to tell my cousin, get the blood clots out of my dick hole so I can pee. And then she did. And then I pissed like 900 milliliters. So it was a lot of piss, in case you're wondering what that means. All right, so there was that.
So I do have a question on that.
Okay.
Session. Let me stop you. Did they have to go to Lowe's to get extra extensions for the catheter tubing, or how? I'm sure that. I mean, they use
the extra small catheters.
No, that's not what I heard.
They used a bendy straw, or like a straw from McDonald's. That's what it felt like when they were pulling the thing out. It felt like it was like this fucking pin coming out of my dick hole. So, anyway.
I've never been catheterized. My kid brother has when he for his emergency appendectomy. And I think at least one time before that as well. All I remember him. No. This was complete. The appendectomy was completely separate, and his previous engagement was prior to that as well.
Gotcha.
But all I remember him saying is looking the doctor square in the face, and his now wife, it was girlfriend at the time. He looked at Doctor square in the face and says, "You will remove that catheter before you wake me up." And they were like, "Oh no, honey, that's okay." His wife was like, "Oh no, you better remove it before you wake him up, or he will fuck your life up."
He'll be real mad.
Yeah, that alone I know is an unpleasant. And my kid brother's got dude's built like a brick shit house. He's got a incredible pain tolerance, and for him to be that adamant about something like that, shit.
Yeah, it sucked whenever they yanked that thing out. And like I said, that was just one of the many things that happened while I was at the hospital. During my time in the hospital, also keep in mind, I went through multiple surgeries. It wasn't like one and done. I had 11 surgeries. 11. And sometimes after those surgeries, I would be so fucked up that I would be paralyzed. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't move or talk to anybody or anything. I could just lay in the bed because they were giving me a cocktail of fentanyl, morphine, and propofol.
Good God.
To keep me out. Oh yeah, and that there was this one situation where they were trying to make me go to sleep for my for one of my surgeries, and they would tell you, because they put the thing on your face, the mask on your face, and they tell you, breathe deep, think happy thoughts, breathe deep, think happy thoughts, breathe deep, think happy thoughts. And one of the times I just wasn't going to sleep. And the doctor was like, "Are you fighting the anesthesia?" And I was like, "Bro, I don't even know how to do that. I want to go to sleep for this. I promise." And one of the other doctors in the room noticed that my IV was leaking on the table. So they ended up having to do an emergency IV thing in my neck. So that was the pictures where I had the IV in my neck. So yeah, they ended up having to do one in my neck. There are so many sub stories. I mean, shit, I lived there for 2 months and some change. But some of the bigger items I wrote down, like I said.
Well, real quick before you go down that list, you mentioned the blood clotting in your lungs. What caused that part? Because you mentioned the broken pelvis, right? Mm-hmm. But what happened with was that just from internal bleeding in general? It went somewhere, so it went into your lungs?
I'm not sure. What I think it was I think it was from that initial impact whenever I hit the concrete, because you got to think, that's a fucking extreme impact for your body to take, for you to hit concrete at 60 miles an hour. So like for example, Kelsey's pelvis was broken in one place. My pelvis was broken in 4 places. And then obviously little chips and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think I attribute that directly to how much impact I took and then absorbing her impact for her, And then I think maybe the lungs might have also been, from that extreme impact.
No broken ribs or anything like that.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Just curious.
There was a lot of stuff that were afterthoughts. It was thought number 1 was keep Cam alive. Thought number 2 is leg. Thought number 3 was pelvis. And thought number 4 was hand. My hand was such an afterthought that when they put me in a cast, with my fingers like this. Mm-hmm. So whenever I went to my first PT and OT sessions outside of the hospital for my hand, they were they really fucked you up by casting you with your fingers bent like that, because
that's how they're going to heal.
They want your fingers straight, because it's a lot easier to get this motion back than it is for you to get this motion back.
Right.
So what I've been doing with my splint is I've been sticking spacers under my fingers and trying to stretch them out straighter and straighter between appointments. So that's excruciating. It's really painful, you know, sweat and gritting teeth and shaking. So, all right, next one is, this is like later on in our hospital stay. It was whenever I was supposed to go to rehab. They kept on telling us that me and Kelsey were going to room together. Like multiple times they told us that we were going to room together. And then we never got to room together the whole time we were there. Not even for one night. We never got to room together. Because, like, I just wanted to fall asleep next to my girlfriend holding hands. That was all I wanted. And they would not let us do that. And they had no good reason either. It was just one guy kept saying no. Everybody else was on board. It was one guy who kept saying no. And they were like, oh, well, we have to listen to that guy because he's somebody's boss or something.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's that. Okay. So here's a little story about getting a pen pulled out of my hand. At 5 a.m., well, it was normally the normal wake-up time was 5 a.m. At 5 a.m., some motherfucker barges in my room with two other motherfuckers, and they say, "Good morning, Mr. Hayes. We're going to remove those pins from your hand." And I was like, okay. And so what they did was they cut open my hand and use a pair of hemostat. And they had to keep looking at the X-ray picture. So he'd like look at the X-ray picture and look at my hand and look at the X-ray picture and look at my hand and be like, yeah, I think it's right here. Anyway, so he was using a pair of hemostats to try to get this pin out of my hand. And the hemostat kept, yeah, those.
Yep.
Or as TJ calls it, a roach. So they're trying to pull this Kent got it. They're trying to pull this. Yeah, I know. They're trying to pull this.
I didn't want to acknowledge it.
They're trying to pull this fucking pin out of my hand with a pair of hemostats, and it keeps slipping off. My man literally did this like 25 fucking times. Put the hemostats on, click them on, try to pull out the pin, slip. Put the hemostats on, slip. Put the hemostats on, slip. Finally, what he ends up doing is getting the medical equivalent of a pair of needle nose pliers, opening the wound a little bit wider and grabbing it with that and yanking that sumbitch out. It took him about 5 tries with that, but he got it out with the pliers. So pulled the pin out of my hand, stitched it back up. Keep in mind, they only used like local. They only used like, you know, the little injectable whatever on my hand to numb it. So I felt all of this. This felt fucking awful. And then they stitched my hand back up and told me to have a nice day. I felt violated. So I had a surgery scheduled for that same day where I was going to be put completely under, where he could have done this while I was completely under, and he chose to do it at 5 a.m. while I was awake.
Tell this motherfucker he's not going to suck something.
Man, I was real heated about that.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude. Did they at least leave you the money in your wallet?
Nah,
So
just
Kim,
got fucked.
I'm starting to see what's happening here. You're keeping a terminal list of hospital employees. And that hospital one day is going to go dark. And all they're going to hear is the click, click, click of your bionic leg coming down the hallway going, I'm back.
Remember at the beginning when I said I was a sniper?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Any actual threats of violence are perceived
for legal reasons, that was a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a joke for legal reasons. So, so there was a situation whenever I was still in the ICU, and I was in excruciating pain for 10 hours straight. And finally, my mom asked the nurse, why is he been in pain all day? Why is he still in pain? And she said, because he never asked for pain medication. You have to verbally ask for pain medication to get it. So I thought that whenever they were bringing me medication on a rotation, I thought that included pain management medication. I didn't know that what she was giving me was, vitamins and shit. I thought she was bringing me my pain medications, but I was still in pain. And, I didn't know how that worked. I didn't know I had to say, hey, bring me all the fucking drugs you got. I'm hurting. I didn't know I had to do that to get pain meds. Yeah, so I was literally
along with my Flintstone chewables, I'll take the entire left side of the menu, if you please.
Yeah, I want all of it. So, I was without pain medication for 10 hours. And this was while I was still in the ICU. That's how recent the wreck was for whenever this happened. I was still in the ICU when that happened. That same nurse would come into my room, pick up my catheter and drop it and walk out of the room. Have no idea to this day why she did that. I've asked multiple people why a nurse would do that. The closest thing to an answer I've gotten is you have to make sure that the catheter line is straight, but I'm not moving. So the catheter line's not moving either. She would literally walk into my room to just tug my catheter line and walk back out. Super weird. Anyway, next, speaking of catheters and things about pee-pee and poo-poo, I had a poopy tube. I don't know what it's actually called, but they put a tube in your butthole and you shits in it, and the shits goes in the butthole's tube and it goes out the other side and it goes into a bag or something, but it's not like a colostomy bag. It's literally a tube up your buttholes. So, in the middle of the night, one night, I shit out my poopy tube. And, the doctors came in, the nurse came in or whatever, and they were just like, okay, well, it's fine. We'll clean you up. They cleaned me up and they were like, okay, we have to replace it. And I was like, okay, what does that entail? Well, we have to stick this tube back inside of you. And I was, you putting that tube in my ass? And they were like, well, yes, sir, we do. And I was like, if the tube would have been this big around, I would have said it was big. This thing was fucking massive. It was like, it might have only been as big as my thumb, but shit, that was too big for my buttholes. So anyway, these cute little nurses are lubing up a pipe that's about to go in my assholes, and they roll me over, and one of them whispers in my ear, just relax.
Easy for you to say. You're not the one having to deal with the business end of a warp tunnel from Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
By the way, it's called a rectal tube. I just Googled it. I'm thankful that Google image searches are a thing. That was really helpful, Google. Thank you for that.
So how does it say how big in diameter is? It had to be at least 5 inches. So anyway, so that was me, shitting out the poopy tube. They had to replace the poopy tube. Well, then 3 days later, I shit out the poopy tube again. And then they were like, and they had to replace the poopy tube again while I was awake. They were just, relax, that kind of situation again.
The medical company Convetic makes rectal tubes. Their outside diameter is 6 millimeters. They're about 360 millimeters in length.
6 millimeters. That's at least 10 inches, right? Gotta be.
Yeah, my conversion's a little rusty, but sure. I mean, perception's a measurement, isn't it?
Oh, they have different sizes. So they're
mine was grande.
They're patient specific. Apparently, what they're saying is your butthole was already a little wore out before you got there.
Yeah. So anyway, they ended up having to. So I ended up getting 3 poopy tubes in my time in the hospital. After I shit out the third one in the middle of the night, they were like, you know what? Maybe you don't need poopy tubes. And I was like, okay. Well, they couldn't give me a regular. Hey, Teach, what you got? You're laughing down there. What you got?
You could have told me that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you could have told me that after I shit out the first one. Yeah, exactly.
Can we add therapy to my PTOT, please?
Yeah.
Now he's
I need an adult.
With a girl named Melissa in spandex. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
But so they were like, so we're gonna bring you a bedpan, but I have a shattered pelvis. They can't bring me a regular bedpan. I have to use a I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically like a shattered pelvis bedpan, which is like weight. It's weight. Yeah, get it. Where it's like it's way smaller, it's sloped down and stuff like that, so that you don't have to raise up as high, and it doesn't cause as extreme of an angle on your hips and pelvis. So I
fracture bedpan.
Yeah, there you go, a fracture pan. That's what they call it. So I had to use that fracture pan after that, which I did for the rest of the time I was in the hospital. Okay. So that was my transition from the poopy tubes to the fracture pan.
Went to sleep, was the hero, poopy tube. Like I
this is why I have notes, because there was so much shit that happened. And like, I'm not even covering half of it. I'm just covering the stuff that I think would be appropriate for the show.
Oh, thanks.
Like the poopy tube.
Poopy tube to raise the level. Good.
Reasonable. All right. So, I'm going to talk about the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life physically. After I got my skin grafts done, they have to remove the skin graft bandage, and then they have to wipe the skin with this thing. Well, I don't know if you guys have seen pictures on Facebook and everything. I'm talking to our viewers. I know you guys have seen.
Yeah.
I have a lot of area that was skin graft from. That was a donor site for skin graft on my right thigh. It's literally 3/4 of my right thigh, and I'm a big man. I do squats, dog.
Yeah, so you don't skip leg day either, bro.
Yeah, I do not skip it is leg day now. It is no longer legs. So on my leg, literally 3/4 of my thigh was a donor site for my stump. And by the way, I called it a stump, and somebody said, "You're not a tree." And I was like, what if I gender identify as a tree today? So anyway, that was just a little short one. When they removed the bandage, the skin graft bandage, and then they have to wipe the skin because they have to put this jelly on it or whatever. When they were scrubbing the skin, which is just exposed flesh. It's post skin graft. It's just flesh. And this guy is using a gauze pad and wiping the jelly off of it. Most excruciating thing in my life. In fact, not Todd Resource Management. Resurgence PPG, Todd Scandrett, was making a documentary or is making a documentary about my recovery. Mm-hmm. And he recorded that, them removing the bandage and doing the like wipe down with the gauze pad or whatever. And after we were done, he was like, I can't use that in the documentary. And I was like, yeah, I figured. He was like, it was straight. It looks like 5 minutes of Russian torture. He was like, I cannot use that in the documentary. That was the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my life. That hurted lots. So that was that.
So out of quick question though, with the skin grafts, right? For those that haven't seen the pictures, right? It looks like they took a deck of cards and just like placed them all over my man's leg here, right?
Yeah,
dude got swatches missing.
Yeah,
on where they grafted it to the amputation site. Mm-hmm. Do you have feeling on those patches in the left leg?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have something I was curious about.
Yeah, I have so a really cool thing is they took one of my tattoos, like they had to use one of my tattoos as a skin graft. Like part of the skin graft was, my Afghanistan tattoo. And they ended up transferring it over to the other leg. So a tattoo went from my right leg to my left leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was kind of a cool thing. Okay, so one of the last things I have on this list to talk about was they put me on a certain medication that whenever they were trying to put me on it, I was like, nah, I don't want to be put on that. And then the doctor was like, oh, here's all these good things. And I was like, well, am I going to have any difficulty getting this medication when I leave this hospital? No. It'll be fine. Okay. It caused a delay from me leaving the hospital to go to rehab, which is part of the hospital. It caused a delay for me going from rehab to home. Like I ended up having to stay in rehab for 3 extra days because of that medication. I was in the regular hospital for 3 extra days because of that medication. And then once I got home, I tried to get that medication through the VA, and I couldn't get it through the VA. So then I ran out and I went through withdrawals. So I got to experience withdrawals while I'm in recovery here. And then we finally found a way for me to get that medication. So now I'm back on it. But yeah, that was like my first week of me being home, which I mean, I've only been home for 2 weeks and a day now. But my first week of being home, a couple of days in, I started going through withdrawals. So that was real shitty.
Yeah, man. I mean, but hey, good on you for having the constitution to be mindful of what drugs they're putting you on, dude.
Yeah.
The opioid crisis is a real thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say it because it was, it's kind of, what the fuck's anybody going to do to me at this point? So basically when I was in the regular hospital, I was on such an extreme pain management regimen. I was on oxycodone every 4 hours,
which is Percocet.
Yeah, Oxycontin every 8 hours, and Dilaudid every 2 hours.
God damn.
Well, I am missing a fucking leg and had a shattered pelvis and blood clots in my lungs and half a hand, A good bit of pain is involved with that. So they had me on all of those pain meds for 2 months. You know, I was in the hospital for 2 months. They had me on those pain meds the whole time.
Right.
So then whenever it got time for me to come out of the hospital, they were talking about me going through withdrawals and stuff like that from all the narcotics that they were giving me for pain management. And they had tossed around the idea of putting me on methadone. And I was like, I used to work at a methadone clinic, and I know the stigma that's attached to the people who go to methadone clinics. I didn't want to be on methadone just because of the stigma. It could have been a wonder drug for me. I don't know. But just because of the stigma that I've attached to it from working at methadone clinics in the past, I didn't want it. But what they talked me into was Suboxone, which also has a very negative connotation. You know, it goes right up there hand in hand with methadone, just a different kind of junkie. And the reason that we had so many problems getting this medication is because it is a narcotic addiction medication. Basically, it's to get you off the narcotics. They put you on other narcotics to get you off the narcotics you're on, so that you can get off. We don't want
you on the street drugs. We want you on our drugs.
Yeah. So they put you on narcotics to get you off of your narcotics, so that you can get off of these narcotics. Yeah. So anyway, so they prescribed me Suboxone, and Suboxone actually worked for my pain management. So the reason that it was such a pain in the dick for me to get it whenever I was going from the hospital to rehab, and from rehab out of the hospital and trying to get it through the fucking VA, was because I'm not being issued this medication for addiction reasons. I'm issued this medication or prescribed this medication for pain management reasons.
Yeah, legitimate reasons.
Yeah, but because this medication is almost exclusively prescribed for narcotic addiction and not pain management, it's a fucking nightmare for me to try to get this medication. But it helped me enough. Like I will say that, you know, like now that I am on it, like I will say it is the only thing that has kept me out of pain, like for almost like most of the time. Like it has kept me the most out of pain out of all the other shit I was on. And you heard the cocktail I was on.
Right.
Oh, and speaking of the VA being a bunch of fuckers, you know, they wouldn't give me an electric wheelchair.
They give you a diesel one, or?
I have, right? I have fucking half a hand and I can't use it. I have one fucking leg and a shattered pelvis, so I can't weight bear, or couldn't weight bear on it. And I've got one hand. Technically, I'm down 3 limbs, but they thought me getting a manual wheelchair was acceptable, because whenever I could weight bear on the leg, the leg that I have, they thought that I could just use the scoot method, which is where you put your foot on the ground and you put your hand on the wheel and you scoot yourself places, basically.
Yep.
Right.
But whenever they had me test this, I was like, I couldn't move. Like I could not do it for 50 meters. I couldn't. I could not have done it for 50 meters. And I expressed to them that this is not a practical way for me to try to get around. Like I couldn't go to Walmart using the scoot method. I couldn't get around in the store using the scoot method. I wouldn't make it out of the fucking parking lot to the front door before I was completely smoked. So the VA obviously doesn't listen to shit that, you know, the veterans need. So I used some of that GoFundMe money that, you know, Jordan Spradley, I think he's in the chat right now. I used some of that GoFundMe money to buy myself my own electric wheelchair. And I needed an electric wheelchair that was lightweight, so that I could, you know, transport it, and that could fold, and that was electric. I needed a very simple wheelchair, but I also needed to have recline capability because I do have a fucked up pelvis. So I ended up finding a wheelchair, and I bought my own electric wheelchair because the VA is a bunch of fuckers. So if you didn't have enough reasons to be pissed off at the VA, they gave me they're the reason I had to go through withdrawals after this shit happened to me. And they gave me a fucking manual wheelchair after this happened to me. So there's another reason for you to hate the VA.
Well, not to mention, if you lived in California, you wouldn't be able to plug in your electric wheelchair because rolling blackouts.
Yeah, that.
That'd be a problem. That'd be a real problem. The VA was just being progressive and looking out for your future.
Yeah. Thank you, VA.
Thank you, VA. So...
Wait, I'm pretty sure those are words you will never hear a veteran who actually has to deal with the VA say is, thank you, VA.
Right. So, what else you got on that little list? Because I got all kinds of shit you haven't covered.
That was it.
Awesome.
That was the last one.
Awesome. So.
And Kent's coming out swinging. Here we go.
Fucking here we go. So, fuck all that shit. Let's talk about the future. Right?
All right.
Because I'm
excited about this first thing I want to talk about for the future.
Let's hear it. Like I want to hear what's coming next.
Me and you already talked about it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. So I've been concealed carrying since I was 21 years old. Since I turned old enough to get my concealed carry, I've concealed carried. So I've had to change my system. Because I'm in a wheelchair now. I'm in an electric wheelchair. I don't have the same retreat abilities that I did. I'm down a hand. I don't have the same recoil management abilities that I had before. So there are things that I've had to consider based on my current situation. And also, I'm not a fan of off-the-body carry, and me and you have talked about that, Kent. I'm not a fan of off-the-body carry, but I wear a fanny pack now because I'm in a wheelchair. And I've decided that what I think the most appropriate gun for my situation is a Ruger LCR 22. Because it is a 10-shot, double action only, 22 revolver. And that part right there is important. It's 8? Is it 8?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is 8. Okay, so it's an 8-shot, 22 revolver. If I had to do a tap rack ready or whatever your range is teaching that day, if I had to do some kind of malfunction drill, I couldn't, even one-handed, from my wheelchair, because I have no sharp edges on my wheelchair to rack the slide off of. So, I don't really have a way to clear malfunctions in my wheelchair. The way you clear your malfunction in your revolver is you pull the trigger again. The reason that I choose 22 is, one, it holds more rounds. Mo bullets is mo better. So, one, it holding more rounds has put it up higher on my list. And 2, recoil management. I don't have my offhand, my left hand, my non-shooting hand to support the firearm. So I'm going to be making one-handed shots. So, I'm going to be doing one-handed shots with a 22 double action revolver that has a really smooth, really awesome trigger pull, or press, whatever you want to call it. And then actually Kent talked me into this because I was dead set that I was going to carry Velocidor 22 long rifle rounds in my gun, because out of any testing that I've done and from testing I've seen in the past, this was years ago, the Velocidor was the best choice for a 22 carry gun, like the North American Arms mini revolvers. Well, Kent turned me on to the Federal Punch, and I started watching reviews on Federal Punch, and I found out that Federal Punch is, in my expert opinion, the best 22 long rifle self-defense round that you can carry. So I will be changing my system to carrying a LCR 22 with 8 rounds of Federal Punch in it when I can fucking find one.
Well,
I
like that. Are you
currently at the Glock 43?
Are you willing to? So we got one of those mag loader, the mag pump things. I did that today while we were talking, so I shipped you one of them bastards.
Oh shit! Cool, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. To help you with your fucking load, because so like the fucking gun instructor dude that I am, I put my ass in a chair the other day and tried my goddamnedest. I was like, all right, so how am I gonna get my boy get his gun up? Like pretend you're as fucked up as he is and see if we can't get her done. And the conclusion I came to was that I could solve all the other problems, your wheelchair or your situation notwithstanding. The only problem I could not solve was I could not fucking load a Glock mag one-handed to save my life. Regardless of using a Maglula or any of those other like hand-supported speed loaders, I just couldn't get it done. So those folks are gonna pre-assemble you one, because those things come some assembly required, but they're gonna ship it to you ready to load Glock mags.
Awesome.
We got that fucking figured out.
Like Glock 43 or like a Glock 19?
Double stacks.
Okay, so G19 it is.
You'd be able to load up your double stack mags and square something away for the house. You know, because you can do the jam load technique with your one hand on that magazine once you've gotten it loaded, and you can run it off of anything in the house to load it and then keep it loaded. It's an operation you'll only have to do once or twice. It won't be your everyday carry thing.
Yeah, that's the way I had to load the 43. Sure.
As far as the LCR, a Filster Enigma will fit you. I don't know about your level of pelvis comfort and fucking, but we've worked out based on the pictures you were able to send me that we can modify a Filster Enigma to help you with, so you can carry on body. Are you thinking the 2-inch? Well, it's the 1.78-inch gun will be better, or are you thinking you'll be able to stand a longer barrel if you do carry it on?
Actually, the reason that I turned my camera off just a second ago was because my pelvis was hurting. So,
right,
my pelvis is pretty. I feel like I got the snoo treatment. If you guys are Futurama fans,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like, fucking, I have a scar across my, my undergut. I have a scar at the top of my pubic area, from where they put the screws in me, and fuck, does it hurt to do certain things? And while I was sitting here, it started to just kind of burn a little bit, and then it started to like burn a little more, and it started to feel like worse and worse. So I turned my camera off because it was really starting to hurt, and I was having to like switch positions and stuff like that. So I don't know what kind of barrel length I'll be able to tolerate. I'll have to play around with it a little bit here myself. See if I can jam a Glock 19 in my shorts or something. See if I can stick my 43 in there. Stuff like that. I'm not sure what my pain tolerance is going to be.
I'm going to get in an Enigma and set it up for you, because that's a one-handed nightmare trying to build it. Fuck, I needed 3 hands and a vise to put my Enigma together myself. So you trying to do it one-handed, like I can't see that working so good. But we can put together a Glock. The one that you put together is like Glock 34, 19, 26. It doesn't matter. There's like one for the double stacks and one for the single stacks kind of set up.
Yeah.
So foreseeably, you could have an Enigma set up for your revolver, and one set up for your little Glock, and one set up for your big Glocks. Just kind of as things progress for you. we can get you squared away in that department. But there's a 3-inch LCR sitting here that I'm not doing shit with. Like, if you can't find one anywhere else, I can ship it to you. But
might take you up on that.
All right, it's the hammer 3-inch gun.
I know. I was looking at that one too.
The only thing I will tell you is that your description of the trigger pull not sucking is not correct. Like, that trigger pull sucks.
Does it?
Yeah.
On the regular LCRs that I've shot, like I shot the 38 special and the 9mm LCR. It wasn't bad. Okay, so you say it's got a real shit. Well, I've shot a good bit of double action revolvers, so I would probably still be okay. But that one having a hammer would, alleviate that part. But I wouldn't do that in a self-defense situation. It's double action or nothing at that point.
TJ took that gun out of the safe while he was here, and he was like, "Oh, that trigger ain't nice."
That's gross.
Yeah, it's gonna take more than some blitz polish and a Dremel to fix that motherfucker. That's all
Here, you guys keep chatting. I'm gonna go grab these revolvers.
Yeah, right. Sure, man. Go ahead, bud.
He did ask like what my plan is. So like obviously that's one step is, I tell people that there's like 3 steps to whenever you're gonna carry a gun or whatever. It's learn to use a gun, purchase a gun, and carry the gun. Right. Those are my rules, like in that order. So I'm going to be purchasing a gun for the role that I want it to fill, which is, just what I said. But that's for now. From what I understand, I might be getting my prosthetic leg in 2 months.
Really?
Or less, yeah. I might have my prosthetic leg in 2 months or less. So if I get my prosthetic leg, that's going to change my mode of carry right there because I'm no longer going to be in my wheelchair regularly. I will still have my wheelchair. I still will use my wheelchair, but I won't be in it as regularly. I'll be walking around with my prosthetic, but I will still have the limitation of one hand. Right. So then I might change my system up a little bit, also have to get used to walking on a prosthetic. But
any idea what kind of prosthesis they're getting you? That you getting?
They're getting
one of the ones that
the X3.
Does that come with the V8 or is that the 4-banger model?
That's the V8 for sure. That's the one that the Navy SEAL guy was like all fucked up in a hospital or something like that, and he was like, "All right, when can I go back to being a SEAL?" And they were like, "Well, you can't. You have a prosthetic." And he's like, "Okay, well, why can't I use my prosthetic as a SEAL?" And they said, "Because you can't swim with a prosthetic, and you can't do this with the prosthetic. You can't do that." And he said, "Okay, well, why don't we make one that does all that?" So then they made one, and it's the X3, and that's the one that I'm getting. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I was hoping I was hoping they'd get you one of those ones that like, okay, with this you cannot compete in the Olympics at all because it's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, makes you so much better than everyone else.
Well, so what was your one rep max when you were doing your deadlifts and squats?
When?
Before the accident.
Like just a few months ago?
Yeah.
I squat for I think that what is 4 plates and a 25 on each side?
You're gonna make me do math on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, and then a 45-pound. The 45-pound. Oh wait, right. No, that's not right because I did the Hatfields. 510 squat.
Yeah, so whatever they get you, make sure they tune it to that weight.
Yeah, make sure that I can do that weight again.
Well, yeah, so you can get back up to it. Dude, trust me. If anybody I know could do that shit, it's going to be you.
Oh no, that
So-
sounds a little heavy.
All right, so
What
here's
you showing us, Kent?
huh?
What you showing us?
So here's the deal. The 22, this guy, if I get my finger all the way, and I mean all the way up in there, I never shoot like that. But if I get all the way up in there one-handed and I dry fire on one of my I've got like the Tim Heron set up down here with the dry fire targets. So I get in some dry fire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm calling 3 alphas and 2 Charlies out of that at about a 50 split on that trigger. On the 38 model, right, I can hold 4 Charlies and 1 alpha just in trigger. Now, I will tell you that in actual shooting on the 38, though, the recoil control on this thing, and this is the 357 that I only ever load with 38. The dude I shot it with last is actually in the chat right now. Motherfucker, I was not performing with this gun with 2 hands. Like, not the way you expect to be able to perform, right? But if I was going to choose one of these to be my cams wheelchair ready, accessible, get off me gun, I think I'm going with the heavier trigger over lower recoil. I think I can live with the 22 and the heavy trigger because I'm getting no recoil in the follow-up. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So I think I'd rather have – I think my initial thought process was a little bit flawed on this. I think I'd rather have the holy fuck, this is a tough press, but my follow-up shots are going to track straighter as opposed to how fucked up they'll be with this guy. But this is the form factor. This is the 3-inch LCR 22, and this is my dominant hand. So this is not a small gun, right?
But it's light, right?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, 9-10 ounces. It's no heavier than this is by any stretch. Yeah, and this is for sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is an 8-shot. I've got the speed loaders and shit for this. But yeah, I'll bet you this is a 12-pound trigger, maybe 14.
Yep, easily.
But I mean, because I can get pinky pressure down here, I can steady this bitch and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I probably keep them all Charlies at a 50 split. I'll take it to the range. You know what? I will know tomorrow. I'll just for you, I'm going to go find the fuck out.
I like it. Do it.
But it's one of those, oh my God. So what you're saying is I'm fired because now you can hold your own pea jug. Well,
that's my cousin.
Yeah, we get it. That's your cousin. Welcome to the chat, ma'am. So yeah, so as far as guns go, I mean, 22 LCR, huh? Well, let me see if I'll get Frank and them because they're closer on, and they've got the FFLs and all the things. I'll get them boys on finding you the 22 LCR gun. And if I can't get you one found, I mean, there you go.
Hey, didn't you say, or maybe TJ, didn't one of you had a Glock 21 that you put a 10 millimeter barrel in?
That's me. I did that.
Did you use the conversion barrel or a regular, just a regular 20 barrel?
No, I used the Lone Wolf conversion barrel.
Why the fuck do they not sell those anymore? I can't find them anywhere. Maybe you can. I don't know. I've been looking for one of those 21 to 20 conversion barrels.
So two reasons. One, didn't sell all that much. Two, there was a lot of reliability problems with those conversion barrels.
Oh, were they? Was it just as so? Basically, it was probably just as good or not just as good. It was probably better for you to just go ahead and buy the complete 10 millimeter upper. Just buy a Glock Model 20 upper and carry it with your, carry it separate or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I've used several of those conversion barrels before. I mean, factory ammunition they do okay with, but anything reloaded, which I know you do.
Yep. I do be reloaded.
No joy, my friend. No joy.
Not so much anymore, but I do be reloading. Oh, but Kent, your question was, what is my plan to get back into the whole shooty thing?
Yeah.
So one is to continue to carry a gun, but to carry a gun that's appropriate for my current situation. So that's my step one.
So a 45-70 gun with a laser designator and a ACOG.
Yeah.
Don't forget the 203 attachment.
Yeah, I definitely need a rocket launcher. So I need to carry an appropriate gun. That's just step one. Step two is I'm going to need to go to the range a couple of times, like just on my own, and shoot these guns in my current, the way that I am now. And then I need to take some training classes. I plan on taking a Green Mountain Defense class, at least one, and Fortitude Consulting. I plan on taking a couple of Fortitude Consulting pistol classes. And then there's the Brothers Keepers guys. I plan on taking one of their pistol courses. So I need to take some pistol courses so that I'm not just doing the regular range thing where I just go to the range and I fire 50 rounds and then I go home. I need the scenarios built for me that are unique.
Tell you what, I got a great one for you that I thought of since we talked last. You need to when Phil Groff is in North Carolina next, down at Apache. He runs grounded and wounded class. That's all about improvisational manipulations on guns with fucked up hands and shit. His curriculum is based on law enforcement officers who are injured in the line of duty and need to continue the fight at least long enough to get home. But a lot of the drilling and shit that he runs in that course is kind of sort of predetermined and predestined for somebody like yourself as well.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good one to get in. Also, the folks at Apache are really looking forward to you coming up to the range and taking some private lessons.
That was the other one. So I knew there was another one in North Carolina because Fortitude is in North Carolina.
Correct.
And so I knew there was another North Carolina one that I planned, and Brothers Keeper is North Carolina. But I knew there was another North Carolina. It was Apache. Sorry, I'm on drugs. So
good, dude. So Tim,
I plan on taking some shooting courses because I've taken a bunch of shooting courses in the past and stuff like that, but my body is different now.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to relearn all this stuff. And I feel like the fastest way for me to relearn it is to go to some courses. So I plan on doing some courses. I plan on shooting some competitions. And that's both pistol and precision rifle stuff. I plan on doing that as well. Yeah, that's kind of my scheduler, because then there's no end to it. It's like you trying to get better at shooting is always a circle. You're never going to be perfect at it, but that perfect practice makes, perfect repetition or whatever. So if I continue to go to courses, basically what I've been doing over the past fucking decade of my life, go to courses, shoot competitions, try to research as much stuff as I can on my own, just do all that stuff until I'm blue in the face, and then just keep doing it.
Well, here's my whole curriculum for you. I just wrote it.
Stance.
Stacy.
No, that's the whole thing.
You can read? stance.
I do some things.
Yeah, well, all we're gonna talk about is how your support side foot controls your ability to shoot. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll just be fine. Dig your toes into Mother Earth and use your support side foot to build yourself a platform.
No. What was it? It was like, fix it.
Fix it.
I'm already having flashbacks to before we went live. Can you guys knock that shit off, please?
Oh my God.
All right, what? So I hope I answered that question to your satisfaction.
Yeah, let's get a little deeper, right? And here's why. Because people in harrowing life positions need fucking motivation, and they need continual motivation.
Okay.
And we need to have a 30, 60, 90, 180, 360, 5-year kind of fucking outlook. So where does this take? Like, where's your professional aspirations? What about your love life stuff? What about like what are you envisioning as your future? And how can we as your friends support you get there? And that's not a joke. There's no punchline. I'm actually being serious.
So this was a conversation that I had with Mom earlier today. Was I think I had told you guys, but I didn't mention it on the show. I am not getting the amount of money that you would think that somebody would get for an accident like this.
Right.
My attorney straight up told me the amount that I'm getting for it, and it's less than I got from my GoFundMe. So it's a pretty sad amount of money, and that's all I'm getting from this, from that driver. That's all I'm getting. So when my attorney told me that, I was pretty fucking bummed, and I told Mom, what am I going to do about money? I'm a fucking cripple with PTSD, and how am I supposed to, go get a regular job with regular people when I have a fucking panic attack to just get on the road? How am I going to do that? And I have to support people. So it was a eye-opening kind of thing to realize that this is the situation I'm in, where I did all this stuff in my life to push me into a situation where I would be perfect to work in the gun industry, or so I thought. And then it all got ripped away by somebody. And then what I get in return is a used car amount of money. And, and I'm over here 2 weeks out of the fucking hospital going, what am I going to do for money? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to support other people? How am I going to do all this shit the way that I am right now and everything? So it's like, so that's something else that I'm going to have to look more into is, where are the monies coming from? There's a few things with the VA going on that are money wise, that are also not super impressive. You can get a grant for a wheelchair accessible van from the VA, but I don't know if I qualify because they gave me a manual wheelchair instead of a electric wheelchair. So there's that also. There's a lot of stuff that I'm considering that I have to put into a perspective that I never thought I would have to.
Well, here's the thing, right? Guys and gals in positions similar have found a lot of ability to continue and thrive. I mean, there are things that you eventually in time will be able to do. eventually in time being the key word. Like you can't expect to like run out tomorrow and teach a class. But there's no reason someday you can't do all that shit again.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like, and that's the plan is, you know, like I have to see what my recovery looks like. And because it's just a giant uncertain to me right now, like, because like I said, the doctors told me that I have less than a 50%. I have basically the chance of me getting even 50% use of this handback is slim and none. But I've been told things by doctors for years that was bullshit. So I'm really hoping that I can get more function out of this hand than 50% so that I can do mag changes and so that I can do immediate action and stuff like that. And so that I can go back to teaching classes, so that I can go back to shooting competitions and doing precision rifle stuff and, you know, all that. And maybe potentially find a home in some career that is in that area.
Well, so here's what I would tell you, right? You've seen Justin. Green Mountain Defense has a habit of hiring cripples. So, like, you know, we can get you out on the range and put you to some work. We don't have the handicap accessible stickers or nothing, but we do have a lot of tolerance for shenanigans.
Shenanigans?
Shenanigans? I'm telling you, man, there's things you could do. There's a lot of knowledge rolling around in that head of yours. It'd be a real fucking crying shame for you not to put that out on as many dudes as you possibly could put it out on. Because I mean, fucking, we'll facilitate. Like, we could do it on video, we could do it in podcast form, we could do it like whatever version of like how do we create a pay structure for you to make some help. Like, you got plenty of people in the business and plenty of people that care and plenty of good humans. Like, nobody's looking to fucking coattail off your situation, but at the same time, I'm sure there's people that can help. Like, yeah. So let's not. I guess my only messaging would be let's rule nothing out. Like, there's no reason to rule anything out. Other than perhaps modeling left shoes for a living.
Yeah, that'd be tough. You guys have seen my left hand. I don't think I'm going to be a hand model either.
I mean,
there's people that'll pay good money for those pictures. Just saying.
Yeah. My man, Missing Link Outdoors over here has only cams. I think
only cams.
It says only cams.
I think somebody else would be a little bit upset if my butthole got on the internet again.
Again?
Yeah,
you're not at the Patreon level on AC494.
Yeah, clearly. I need to renew my subscription. Missing all the good stuff.
I would like to reestablish my YouTube channel eventually, like once I get better and stuff like that, like review products again, maybe start the Shooting the Breeze podcast again.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, stuff like that. One of the fucking hardest parts, though, is finding a place to shoot. That is such a big pain in the ass for me. It's like, you know, I want a house where I can reload and make a batch of ammo and then go outside and test it in my backyard. And then if that doesn't work, go back inside and tweak the load a little bit.
Yep.
That's like the dream right there. Like, and I only do that.
So real quick, I actually had a neighbor, retired guy, big into reloading, you know, had gun rooms built into his house. He got one of those it's the sheds that people have been turning into like tiny houses and shit. He got one of those and he set that up with a bench at a window. So you had a single stage reloading press or a turret press, but had it set up short of having it insulated with a shit ton of furniture. It was pretty much a tiny house. He had a little mattress in there to sleep on. He had He had a couple of chairs, but literally right there, he had a bullet trap in his front yard, and he would test his load. He had it air conditioned and everything, electricity running to it, and everything he needed was right there. His house was, 50 feet away, but he could literally go lock himself in his reloading room and test all his loads and everything like that. It was a pretty sweet setup. Pretty sweet setup. Something to think about for that too, bud.
The house that I was looking at, literally, I was supposed to close on a house on the 7th, and my wreck happened on the 18th of the month before. So my wreck happened on the 18th. I was supposed to close on a house on the 7th of February or July. Yeah, and it had a separate building from the house that had electricity and all this other stuff, and it had it was gonna be my reloading area. It was this building off of the house that had heat and AC and basically everything you would need for a mother-in-law suite except for a bathroom.
Right. Yeah, that's essentially what this guy set up in one of those prefab sheds.
You could always, as far as your future in the gun business, you could always be this dude. You remember him?
Still got the shovel.
You remember that guy?
Yeah.
That dude's in a wheelchair in a room full of guns and books about guns. Yeah, that's my man. You could be that guy. That's a real dude. Just saying.
And I could really pull that one off too. I'd be looking out the window to see if anybody's all right, they're coming. And then run over to my wheelchair and just be all solemn and have the lights all turned down and be smoking a cigar. Come in. And whenever they come in, talk real wise, but not really know what I'm talking about.
But like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
You need a cat.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a double barrel shotgun strapped to the bottom of the arm of your chair.
Hello, Mr. Bond. And an accent. You have to have an accent.
Yeah.
I can absolutely see it.
Like Hunt for Red October, where the Russian sub-commander was a Scottish guy that spoke with a Scottish accent in English Russian. Whatever.
It's weird.
Yeah.
The rules don't apply. The bullets can bend.
Also,
curve the bullet camp.
At some point, Madison Rising is going to do a cover of Fortunate Son. If you're not in that music video, like with a bandana and the wheelchair, the whole thing with the rifle going, I've seen some stuff, man. And some
things and some stuff.
If you're not doing that, you're really not playing it up as much as you.
All that's coming to mind is, what is that? I don't know what you call it. I only know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life. Nick, you just need to smoke 30 packs of cigarettes in an hour.
Oh yeah, right before anybody wants to talk to me, just smoke all it. Oh damn it! What was the other part? It's I don't know what it's called. I just know the sound it makes when it's full of shit.
Well, when it lies.
Yeah. No. One of my buddies, he actually has already told me that he is going to hand carve me a pirate peg leg with a hidden rum compartment in it.
I mean, listen.
It would be a missed opportunity otherwise.
Right, I agree. So he told me he's going to make me this leg. And whenever he told me he was going to make this leg, I was like, if you think that I won't wear that over the prosthetic most days, you're dead ass wrong. I will wear a pirate peg leg for any occasion over a regular prosthetic. Now, if it was so we have this friend of ours who's an engineer, and he's also a metal fab guy. And he said that he was going to make me a Terminator leg and like a T-1000 Terminator leg. And I was like, man, I'm actually kind of disappointed in you. And he said, why? And I was like, I'm surprised you didn't say a RoboCop leg or something. where I have a fucking gat spit out of it and pull it out. And it's, a 3-round burst Beretta.
All I'm hearing is nothing but opportunities.
Yeah, it's you just opened up a window of opportunities, Cam.
You did.
Yeah,
We expect nothing less from you, though.
Yeah. But you had asked about multiple things. It's a T2000 leg. Okay. There was other things you asked about. The going joke in the hospital with Kelsey is I broke it, so I have to buy it, because, I ruined her life. So pretty much I'm going to have to marry her at some point, but not while we're still shitting in a bedside commode, preferably.
That could make for an awkward bachelor party.
Yeah. Walking. It's called walking down the aisle. Walking.
I mean, you two could hop over a broom together.
I don't think we could make that action. I don't know if you've seen me. I jiggle. I jiggle when I fucking sneeze.
Okay, well, fine. But,
you're just building inertia.
Yeah, inertia.
You guys could. So there's stuff you could pull off, though. You could win a sack race. I mean,
yeah. So since we're still talking about being fat pieces of shit, Kent, whenever you said a sack race, who the fuck? Anyway, so whenever I was talking about being jiggly, and then you're like, oh, you could jump around, fat ass. Thanks, Kent. With a sack race. So one of my most I need to work out harder moments that I had in my life was I got on the forklift at work, and the forklift vibrated, and my tit touched, or my tit or my gut touched my leg when I leaned over a little bit, and I was like, oh, I got to do something about this.
I've been there, bro.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah. Oh God.
I got to do something about this. Is a problem.
Well, I mean, let's not kick anything out of bed. Your weight loss went great. You lost fucking 40 pounds right off the rip.
You're not wrong. It's funny. You say 40 pounds. Did I tell you that? Because it really was.
No, it just happened to know what a man's leg weighs, I guess.
Yeah, I know about how much half a leg weighs. Don't ask questions.
So that's actually a question I do have is do you still have is it in a freezer or something? Or did you
asked if I could keep it because it's it's fucking mine. I asked if I could keep it or anything, and they were like, nah. And I was like, well, where is it? Maybe I want to look at it or something. And they were like, it has been disposed of. And I was like, but you know where it's at, right? It's not really. What do you guys really do with these body parts? For real, is there two fucking losers in the basement fighting each other with some severed arms or something?
Yep.
Who are you really gonna pay? It's hard to find jobs right now. Anyway, there are two fucking losers in the basement who are fighting each other with severed limbs or something because they're just these are what we got. But yeah. What else did you ask me? You asked me what my future holds with Kelsey, which I just answered that one, I hope.
I mean, and by the way, kudos to her, right? We have out of respect, obviously we're no disrespect to her, but I at least am closer with you. I know Kent has gotten to meet her because I never leave my fucking basement.
Troll.
But kudos to her for at least getting you enough, understanding all that is Cam enough to be motherfucker, you broke it.
Yeah.
You stuck, bitch.
You act like that's a good thing on her part. She's the one getting the shit into this stick.
No, she's you two are a handsome couple. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but is it because we're both missing a leg, so we match?
I mean, The wedding pictures, I can't wait.
He's like, oh, you two are a handsome couple. You know, you two look like you belong together. Yeah, because we're both missing a fucking left leg.
The thought did cross my mind that there would be like a mix up in the order of your new prosthesis, and you would get like a very effeminate but shapely, like athletic woman's leg with like a high heel insert.
I get the fucking box. It says fragile on the side. It must be Italian.
That's exactly what came through my mind.
Oh
Like
my
the wedding photo is going to be like all the bridesmaids all sitting there with like doing the sexy, like showing the leg and the matching garters and shit, and there's Cam sexy leg matching garter.
No, what would be really fucking cool is like if all the chicks did the sexy leg thing or whatever, and Kelsey had like the T1000 leg or whatever. So like it shows the picture of like all these like sexy legs and then a fucking T1000 leg. You're like, that one wins.
I feel like though in the video of the wedding, if they don't do it with like the entry of Terminator 2, where like there's just like this wasteland of skulls, and then there's just ka-chunk, Terminator like stepping on a skull, and that's like the first step down the aisle.
Is just crush a skull on the way down.
Just crush a skull and shooting a laser gun.
Yes,
we should be allowed to plan these things. We need adult supervision.
So here's what I want to know. Here's what I do have a question about this. Are you just gonna make your groomsmen and bridesmaids cut off their legs too? So you can't. I'm sorry, man. We love you.
We can't not match.
Right? That's.
I should get one of my groomsmen should be like some dude I meet with like without a hand who has like a fucking hook, who's like a legit pirate. And people be like, oh, how do you know Cam or some shit like that? And he'd be like, yeah, he like never met him before. But like a legit pirate. And then people be like, hey, Cam, you know there was a fucking pirate at your wedding? It's like, oh, yeah, Tim. Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys from the VA. He said he's seen some things and some stuff.
Yeah. He wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, your wedding song could be Fortunate Son.
How about if we're stealing wheelchairs, it could be Chameleon Riding Dirty.
There you go. You see me rolling.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. I hope, by the way, it occurs to me that we're over here cracking all these jokes. And your poor bride-to-be someday sitting over there having to deal with all these shenanigans. I hope she's not like, these are the worst humans on the planet.
Welcome to the family.
Well, yeah.
if people didn't already think that, so I mean, like, you know, if she hangs out with me, obviously she has bad taste. So you guys are fine.
I don't know. Well,
the reception's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, it is. I'm really looking forward to finding out what the next leg of your adventure is going to be like. It's gonna
You didn't even just try to stick your toe in. You just went full bore, huh?
Right up to the knee.
I've been towing the line for a little bit, so.
That'll get you a leg up on the competition.
That's a knee slapper.
Hold on. Let's hold on, guys. We're getting sensitive. Let's not trip over ourselves here.
You know what?
We've been waiting so long to do this.
I'm gonna stand up for what's right, and I'm gonna end this shenanigans right here.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I'm not at all surprised, right? Like your sense of humor, your ability to push through all this shit, your tenacity. In all seriousness, homegirl couldn't have found a better dude, man. You're gonna be just fucking fine. It's gonna take some time and some effort, and it's gonna be a heavy lift, but you'll figure it out, bro. I have all the faith in the world in you. I just want you to know that we're here for you in any way we can support you. And whatever the fuck we can do. Like I'm 100% in. So feel free to obviously keep being a part of this, because I can't imagine having lost you if that was the outcome. That would have been fucking brutal. So to kind of wrap up here, like, look at the strength of fucking, my God, dude, your mother, holy fuck. Like, there's some tough stock going on there, dude. People that handle shit the way they handle it, like, I gotta give them mad props for the way that they've been able to be there for you and to support you and all those things. And obviously her family's squared away, and you guys have a good little circle and a good little system around you, and we're just happy to be a part of it any way we can be. You'll be just fine, dude. They won't break. Absolutely. They fucking can't break you. The goddamn half the Middle East couldn't manage. Like, you'll be all right. The camel spiders didn't get you. TJ won't stop talking about the damn camel spiders.
I don't want to talk about it right now.
Right? Like,
he's like, I got to go to bed soon. Shut up, Kent.
Right.
No, not at all, man. But look, Kent's right, dude. Look, all your tours, all that shit. Hell, 60-mile-an-hour pavement just slowed you down a little bit. You get back up to speed, brother. No shit. You'll get there, and we'll be with you the whole way.
Yeah, I look forward to that part. You guys being with me. The slow part kind of sucks, but I know it'll get better. And that's kind of always my thing. The suck today's dick or whatever. It's one, I want to make people smile. I want people to I always try to make people laugh. Always try to make people smile. That's my thing.
Yep.
But also, like the day might be hard, the day might be shitty, but you got to do it.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this much, man. I have never looked more forward to your Suck Today's Dick videos than I have after this, right? The fact that you have been able to focus on the good, as you've said, right? And turn that shit around. Let your own, challenges that have been thrown your way and the injuries that you've sustained still make you be the awesome person that you've turned out to be. I hope more people can realize and take stock for the things that they have and the blessings in their life and learn from this.
Yep.
Because, goddamn it, you motivate the shit out of me. And I hope you know that.
That's what I try to do. I try to motivate. Not specifically you. It feels good that you are one of the people that I motivate, because I think the world of you and Kent. But that's the goal is I want to motivate people. I want people to have a positive outlook. I want them to not think that that this is it. Nothing's ever going to get better, and they should start a 9mm in the VA parking lot. That took a dark turn, but it's true.
Yeah.
It happens.
It could be worse, but you choose what your day is going to look like as far as your own personal outlook. And while I was in the hospital, I tried, even though I was in severe pain, I tried to say, hey, to, every nurse and doctor and everything like that. I hope you're having a good day. We brought food, like snacks in for the nurses and stuff like that for the hospital staff. I was always polite and I was always nice to them, even though I was in that shit situation. I tried to be nice and polite the whole time I was in the hospital. And that's kind of always been my thing. I try to be extra nice, extra polite to people, because I don't know what kind of day they're having. I have been told by people that me just being nice to them one morning prevented them from killing themselves.
Yep.
And that hit me so hard that I chose that day for that to be who I wanted to be. I want to be the guy who says, hey man, what's up? You doing all right? And I'm, take their mind off of the thing that's really bothering them, and they just get to be like, oh, yeah, I'm all right, or just whatever it is. Just be polite. It's free. It is free. It's 100% free to be polite to people. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. The tiniest thing can have a dramatic impact on someone's day. Hell, they're weak.
Getting some robot voice from you, TJ?
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, am I having a stroke or is that happening for everybody?
Do you smell toast?
Oh, God, yes.
Eugene?
Yeah, bro. You're all fucked up.
Oh, God damn it.
Stop it. He just went Terminator. Don't talk no more. I'm muting your ass.
Has Skynet fallen?
Fix it. Fix it.
Fix it. Fix it. Pat, rack, ready.
Is that better?
Yep, that is better. It's not great because it's your voice, but it is better.
Look, I have the voice of a 40-year-old smoker or Miley Cyrus. Same.
It's our party. We can do what we want to.
Party in
That's
the USA.
Mm-hmm. Well, dude,
You just came in like a wrecking ball with that reference, by the way.
Oh, I did. I really, really did.
You had to strain for that one.
No, yeah. No. Say it with your chest, Cam. All right. So, look, we're going to have to cut this one off at some point. It might as well be now. We will do as many of these as you can muster. And any time that you need this as like, you know, as an outlet or like a thing that you need to get on here and do, fucking the floor is yours. Just tell us when, and we'll slot you. And we'll make sure you get to be part of it. Because you need as much productive, good shit to look forward to as you possibly can. I just, as far as like storytelling and shit that we could do a better job of, we got to talk about your mom in depth. And like the impact it's had on her. We got to talk about these two angel nurses that just showed up, like in depth, and who those people are a little bit. We gotta, you know, if this should be such a thing that she sees fit or that she feels like is cathartic or is helpful. Kelsey has a whole story in this too that we haven't really, you know, gotten her perspective or touched on. If that's something that never bears to be because that's not what she can muster, that's not what she wants to do, that's okay too. But like there's some more to glean from that perspective. And then of course there's like the rebuilding of you guys as a couple and where we go from here and what our professional aspirations are and all that shit. So there's as much, I mean, we could fucking do 20 hours on this and not even scratch the surface. Mm-hmm. So any amount of that you want done, I mean, you have a platform. We have the microphones and the outreach, and we have the ability to get it out to people. So
say the word. Yeah,
literally just say when you want to talk about it, we'll make it happen. And if you just want to go out here and fucking do like you used to do and just verbal diarrhea on some ballistic shit, that's all right too. Like whatever.
So I don't want to dedicate another episode to this, another full episode.
Sure.
If we maybe like go over my mom a little bit or something like that, or, you know, the trauma nurses, you know, or something like that, just like if we like touch on it a little bit, then yeah, that's cool. But this is, you know, like this is a shooting podcast and stuff like that. So like,
all right,
even though the medical portion is, you know, related to it and stuff like that, if I come back on here, or sorry, when I come back on here, I want it to be mostly about where like this, like where my journey is basically restarting, where I've gone since the last time I was on the show.
Yeah, and hell,
so,
dude,
like, if I go to some courses and stuff like that, you know, like that kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, hell, even the lessons learned, right? The trial and error that you're about to go through, right? It could be so much more than just, hey, I started here, now I'm here. Like, hell, dude, it could easily, just as it happened to you, it could easily be Kent or myself or any one of our viewers that find themselves in a similar situation. We can now build that repository of lessons learned from someone who's been there and had to overcome those hurdles, right? Hey, this is where I started. This worked. This didn't, right? We tried the Enigma. We tried the revolver thing, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on and on and on. So absolutely all for it, man. Like I said, you say the word, whatever you want to bring up.
Yep.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do.
That, and clearly you put more into planning and preparation for the show than Kent and I do. So
I take it seriously, guys.
Fucking Peter Griffin voice. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Bob, you're like you said, whatever you want to do, however you need to do it, we'll make it happen for you. I think I get where you're coming from. That makes sense to me. Listen, guys, we've waited till the end to do this, right? But we got the GoFundMe popping up. It's amazing how TJ and I's fucking brains work together. So we knew that was coming. Please hit that up. Give as you can. Please continue to buy the shirts. You know, Cam's already in receipt of a nice big chunk of t-shirt money just from us being silly and goofy pants. So that's always helpful. My man's needs the help, and it's one of those things where it's going to be a continuing and ongoing need. So you know, do reach out and do something for him as you can. We're nowhere near done figuring out what things and how in various different ways we can help him. Because quite frankly, TJ and I are blessed to be able to do shit like that. So, you know, our families ain't going to starve if we don't make money on our own podcast, which is really clear to us. So fuck it. We can do for others, and we're going to continue to do that. It means a lot to us to be able to be in that position. And you know, we've helped out whatever charities and strangers and people we don't even know. This dude's my fucking brother. So do something. Reach out if you can. I would really appreciate support coming from the podcast. And no, I don't give a fuck if you told him where it came from or who you was or what you heard or whatever. But if you think he would benefit from your version of the story of why you helped, then tell him. But as far as we care, we're just here to help. So that's the whole thing in a nutshell. And the only other, you know, because we're not advertising ourselves or classes or anything on this episode, we're not going to talk about anything else to benefit ourselves. The only other thing I would tell you is that there's a strong reasoning that these two humans that we care about are still alive, and that's because some other humans were squared away enough to carry some fucking tourniquets and some med gear. And I'm sick of begging y'all, like, please get squared away. Please carry that stuff. Like we're looking in the face of our fucking like brother and our friend who's here today because some squared away people had some tourniquets on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people with tourniquets saved our lives. Actually, it was people with tourniquets and know-how.
Well, there's that too, right? So get in a class, get that shit squared away, make that part of who you are, because you could have a real positive impact on somebody someday. Obviously, it happened for our guy Cam here. So that means,
you know, not for nothing, but you know, we talk about classes and stuff like that. You know, even Dark Angel Medical, who we talk about all the time, right? If you're not going to carry a gun, carry medical. If you're going to carry a gun, still carry medical. They offer training as well, but I do distinctly recall, at least back in my day, and I'm going to put on my old guy shoes for a second with the Velcro and shit. Back in my day, when you wanted to learn CPR or you wanted to learn first aid or something like that, you could go to your local fire department and say, hey, look, I just witnessed a car accident. I just had a best friend in a car accident. I want to learn how to save a stranger's life, and I haven't seen shit yet, but I know what's going to happen, right? Show me what I can do. Yep. Give me that training. Most of them will do that shit for free.
Stop the Bleed is a great resource for that. You can go get a Stop the Bleed class. The Y and some other places still do CPR training and stuff like that for free.
Matter of fact, Kent, I think that's another good link that we should throw on your website, bud.
Okay.
Resources for free medical training.
Okay. Sure.
I mean, there's got to be some resources out there. I'll even help you do some digging to find some links and stuff. But
sure.
Jesus, people, get the training, man. Someone's life, even your own, could depend on it.
Absolutely. So that's all we got for the promos and all that stuff. Cam, you got any last words for us? You got anything you wanted to say on this before you get it off your chest and get off of here?
Be polite. It's free. That's for everybody. And tell the people that you love them, because you don't know when something like this is going to happen. You know, we did nothing wrong. It was just somebody texting and playing on their phone. We did absolutely nothing wrong, and our lives got changed forever. I almost died. Kelsey almost died, you know, and it was just a regular, Saturday. So tell the people that you love them. One, while you still can, and two, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Damn straight. Cam, so glad you were on the show again, brother. Love you. Wishing you a speedy recovery. If you need anything, you let us know. For the rest of you, take care of each other. God bless you all. Get out and shoot.